everyone. Welcome to another episode of Loyal and True. I'm Shelby Kerns, class of 1993.
Hi there. I'm Cam Crain, class of 1988.
And with us today, we have Kate Colvin, Dr. Kate Colvin, as I like to say, class of 2003. Welcome, Kate. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, Cam, you probably don't know this because you are just meeting Kate for the first time today. But we actually met a few years ago in Washington, D.C. at a University of Idaho. Go Vandals!
Oh, look at
event.
Shout out Vandals. Palouse represent. Here we go. They're the Cougs.
They're in the BSU representation.
And it was one of those quintessential, Lager alum moments that we have been talking about where I went to check in at the table where you check in for an event. And the first thing out of Kate's mouth was like, Kerns, are you from Potlatch? Who do you know from Potlatch?
Come on. So you have the double alum connection, you two.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And didn't know each other, didn't have any idea, but she was in school with our cousin Rob.
Rob Ski.
Yeah. I graduated
Too much
with
rock
Rob.
for one hand. Rob. Yes, indeed. That's awesome. And so hold up. And you meet in DC, not in Moscow for a reunion in DC. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. At a Vandal alumni event. So at the time I was working in the alumni office for the University of Idaho.
Okay.
And we had gone out there for a DC alumni event because surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, to be honest, there's a really good group of Vandals out in the DC area that are really active. And so we had an event with President Green out there and coordinated an event around that. And Shelby was one of the actually 5 Lager alumni to come.
Come on.
Not Vandals.
Now you're making stuff
Loggers.
up. There are not 5 loggers, are there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like from Potlatch area. Yeah.
Yeah. 5 Potlatch connected people.
Mm-hmm.
So, clearly, as usual, loggers dominate in the room.
Yeah, totally. That's what we do. Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So we've been able to stay in touch since then, and really excited to finally get her on the podcast to talk about her journey and sort of some memories about and some of the things that we all share, which is always also really interesting to think how many of those things, given Cam is so much older than Kate, the number of things that in common, teachers and whatnot, that we still share. So
it was so funny when Zach was trying to roast the two of you for being old on the episode you had with him. And he was actually making comments that were actually roasting my age. Like he mentioned his cousin Ryan and how old he is. Like I'm pretty sure he called Ryan old. I'm like, I graduated with Ryan Brees. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, wow, this is rough. And he's like, oh yeah, I remember when there used to be like a regular phone you'd pick up and dial 9. That was so long ago. And I was like, that's when I was there, my friend. But anyway, yeah.
The generational stuff is wild for us because there's more in common than there is in different, it seems.
Yeah.
In all these interviews.
Even favorite teachers.
And favorite teachers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Favorite teachers.
That's so true. So where are you at right now, Kate? Where in the country are you?
So I'm in like the Virginia Beach area right now. So I work at Fort Eustis, Virginia. So I live in this area here.
Wow.
So just south of DC. I don't know if you're in DC right now or where you're at, but
I'm in Boise right now, but generally we live in the same time zone usually. So that's nice.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us about what led you from Potlatch to the Virginia Beach area?
Yeah. So I graduated, you should have been class of 2004, but I knew I wanted to get my doctorate. I thought I honestly wanted to be a medical doctor. And so I thought, I have all this like year of school ahead of me. So I'm just going to graduate early. And so with my childhood best friend, Ellie Garcia, now Ellie Helbling, we actually both graduated a year early. So we did our junior and senior year in one. I think we had to do like a government correspondence class or something and then graduated early. So I did graduate early with the class of 2003. I went to the University of Idaho again, go Vandals, for my undergrad. And it was there through taking chemistry that I learned maybe I didn't want to be a medical doctor, and it wasn't that great. Oh, Kim, it wasn't my thing. But I
Yeah.
really loved like anatomy, physiology. Like I even volunteered to be a TA. I loved psychology. So I knew I wanted to do something, but I just wasn't quite sure. So after my undergrad, I went over to Seattle and I was working as a general manager of a gym. I did top fitness classes, did, club sports, all that kind of good stuff in college. So I was a fitness instructor, general manager of a gym, and I was doing triathlons competitively at the time. And I got
Nice.
injured. And it really, thanks. Yeah, I got injured and it really messed with my psyche. And I was like, wow, like, my entire life, all I've ever been is an athlete, right? And that's kind of how I identified myself. And it shook things up a little bit. And I was like, oh, I remember this like sports psychology like class I took, or just like a little module about it. And so I randomly, if anybody knows Damon Burton from the Moscow area, his sons grew up there. He was a professor at the University of Idaho forever, the godfather of sports psychology, motivation and sports psychology. And I just emailed him and I said, hey, I did my undergrad there. I think I want to study with you. Are you accepting any more students? And I was the last master's student he ever took. And I went and studied sports psychology and did my master's there with Damon. And that was an amazing opportunity. Loved the University of Idaho, loved being, close to family and around friends, having their kids at that time. But Damon told me that I could not do all 3 degrees from the same university. It was like, you gotta go, Kate. So I went to Texas Tech for my doctorate and studied educational psychology with an emphasis in sport and performance psychology. And while at a conference in Honolulu, a sports psych conference, the keynote speakers were doing a presentation about sports psychology within the military and how it had started at West Point. And now they were expanding that support, right? Because soldiers are tactical athletes. And there was one woman on the panel out of the 5 individuals. And I just went up to her, Kareen Harada, Dr. Harada, a good friend of mine now. And I just went up to her and said, hey, can I take you out for coffee? I think I want to be you when I grow up. And so so that's how that started. And I applied. And so my first job, I guess, out of graduate school was with, it was called the Comprehensive Soldier and Family Fitness. And I worked at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And I was embedded primarily in the Wounded Warrior Battalion. While I was there, I worked with a couple gentlemen from Special Forces, and they were just really incredible, really motivated. And they're like, hey, this mindset stuff that you do for, Wounded Warriors, could you do that for Special Ops? And so I got pulled over to do some close quarter combat training, shoot house training with them. And then from there, I got pulled over to the POTIF, Preservation of the Family Forces, and it was basically, it's a human performance program for special operations. And so I started as a cognitive performance specialist with First Special Forces Group. So I moved from North Carolina. After about 2.5, 3 years there, I went to JBLM, which is around Seattle area. And I worked with First Special Forces Group, so Green Berets, 275 Ranger Regiment, and then 4160th SOAR, so the Special Operation Aviation Regiment. Loved it. I was close-ish to home. Some really amazing friends that I grew up with are in that area. Shelby, some of their older siblings, so like Holly Baker, her brother, and Tori, and Hayden. I believe you guys had her mom on the podcast. So she's a good friend of mine. Sydney Osborne, they're all there. Great group of people. And then I got convinced to take a job at NATO Special Operations Headquarters. So I went over to Belgium and I helped our allied nations stand up specifically the cognitive portion of their human performance programs. So it was myself, a physical therapist, strength and conditioning coach, human performance director, and we just made our way around and worked with our allied nations. And that was a really incredible opportunity, great opportunity to travel, learn different things. COVID happened, contracts fell through, had to come back, not to come back, I guess. And I came here to Virginia Beach area and worked with the Navy SEALs, specifically the boat team. And I worked a lot on focusing on subconcussive trauma, prevention, treatment, that type of stuff. And then I started to get really sick and I wasn't really sure why. I'd been getting sick for probably about 5-ish years at this point, and I thought it was due to my op tempo operation, like how fast I was going, right? Because I would go For example, the Night Stalkers, they fly at night, the Special Operations Aviators, right? So sometimes I'm at work till 2 a.m. or sometimes I go to work at 2 a.m. And it just really was, sometimes you're flying to this country to support them or you're going here. And so I thought I was just getting worn out, to be honest. And a position at the University of Idaho came open. And someone who I'd graduated with and worked in the alumni office had reached out to me. And I was like, you know what, maybe this will be a good opportunity. I can go work in the alumni office at the university I love, be close to family again, slow down. Of course, I didn't slow down that much because I reached out to the athletic department and I was a sports psych for the football team. I worked with Coach X. He was incredible. And Coach Ford was there at the time too, just before he left. It was really, really awesome opportunity to work with them both. And
your version of slow down is like really,
I know.
Acceleration.
Different. Yeah. Like would be like picking up the pace for me, but okay. Yeah.
Well, I was living in Coeur d'Alene and I moved to Moscow, so there wasn't so much commuting. So I thought that would help me slow down and everything. But yeah, that was a blessing.
That sounds like you were just optimizing, but okay. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. More time to work with the football team, let's be honest. And that's when I met you, Shelby. And then I actually got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And so, and that was May of 2024. And I was misdiagnosed for probably 10 years, I think. And I had a spinal surgery that I didn't need. And what happened was so multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune disorder. And so like the more immune system you have, right, the more your body's going to attack itself because my immune system attacks itself. And so I had a spinal surgery that I didn't need because one of my multiple sclerosis symptoms is that my legs go numb or I go numb from the waist down. So they thought it was due to a spinal injury I had. I used to do CrossFit back in the day and probably didn't take care of my body as much as I should have. And I did have an injury, but I treated it well. And so this surgeon was just like, oh, probably you just need a fusion. So did a 2-level fusion, but that caused the autoimmune rebound response. And so it kicked my MS into full gear. So now I'm secondary progressive. And so it caused blindness, like inability to walk and some other issues. And with the, the job at the University of Idaho, I was traveling, like when I met you at the event. And I remember there was one event just up in Spokane and we were at a hockey game and I physically couldn't stand up to go like walk and like mingle with people because my legs wouldn't work. And I was like, gosh, I'm just not the right person for this right now anymore. And it really kind of, shook everything up in my head a little bit. And I just needed some time to really reflect and learn how to navigate the disease and honestly accept the disease. And so I left very reluctantly and broke my heart. I left the U of I, and I took a year just doing RV life. So I have 2 dogs and 2 cats. And it was me in a vintage 1983 Toyota motorhome. And we just spent a year driving up and down the West Coast. I spent a lot of time in Napa Valley. I volunteered at the campus there. Wow. Yeah, my grandparents, May and Otis Colvin, were the caretakers of Laird Park, I'm sure, when you guys were kids. So it's kind of,
Park.
Yeah. So I grew up there. So that felt really at home to me. And then after a year, he's now a colonel, but was a major at the time, a physical therapist. I worked with it for Special Forces Group way back in 2015. He reached out to me about a job that I currently have. So I'm currently the cognitive performance lead for the Army's holistic human performance program. So I just kind of oversee and I'm helping mentor and, the newcomers coming in. It's the biggest human performance initiative ever taken in the world, which is really, really great to be a part of. So just really helping shape what that looks like to support all of our soldiers in that Army. So that's me. That's where I'm at.
Wow. What a remarkable journey.
That is an incredible journey.
Here from there. Thank you for all you've done to help us and help, our veterans. I'm noticing a theme there with other interviewers that we've had here on the podcast with the vet theme. So I think that's interesting. But I'd love to double click on what you're doing now in terms of, are you shaping curriculum for them specifically? Are you analyzing data? Are you doing both? If I could nerd out just a little bit.
Yeah. So what's really cool about the H2F program, so we have their strength and conditioning coaches, athletic trainers, physical therapists, dietitians, cognitive performance specialists or sports psychologists by trade, occupational therapists. And so each unit, so a brigade or battalion will have, each battalion will have their own basically program, right?
Yeah.
And so within that, it's really the commander's intent, which is so great because it's based off of the mission set, right, of the unit, their deployment cycle, everything that kind of goes into it. And so they rely, based on the goals of the commander, they really rely on the subject matter expertise of the folks on ground to be able to utilize what they need, right, to service those soldiers the highest capacity they can. And so here I'm helping shape doctrine. Every 5 years we're rewriting that. So that's coming around. So our field manual or ATPs. I'm going to be on a panel next week, the AUSA panel. And I'll be speaking about specifically the sleep and the cognitive pieces of the Army's holistic health program and what we're doing and providing in the future of that. But then I do help mentor the younger individuals coming in and the newer, anybody, right, within the program. We have currently just under 80 cognitive performance specialists, and we're worldwide because we do have units stationed in Italy and Korea. And so it's really great to be able to kind of support them, build them up, collaborate, brainstorm. Luckily, where I'm at with my education, my postdoc certifications, I'm able to offer certifications and continuing education training and connect them with the right people. And so I'm just really thrilled to be able to kind of be a force multiplier, I guess, now, because I physically can't do it anymore. Like, for example, the heat makes me flare up, right? And I have to have a regular sleep schedule. If I'm not sleeping well, then my MS flares up. And so I physically cannot go do what these practitioners are doing now, but I can share knowledge, I can share best practices, I can do research, I can help, if they need curriculum developed, I'll help them for sure, but they have the autonomy and the trust to really go and do what they need to do based on the commander's intent.
Well, and what in a way for you to infuse what you've learned about yourself and your own diagnosis and put it into your work that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great job. And then putting boundaries around that. I'm sure that's really important. You got to keep your sleep, get your rest. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I absolutely encourage all these newcomers coming in the field to do it too, because I would never say no to supporting anything someone requests, right? Because you want to build rapport. You're excited to do the job. You love what you do. And so you really you support people to a fault, right? And so learning how and why to prioritize yourself, because the body quite literally keeps the score, right? And we know that with autoimmune diseases, it's cumulative. And
well said.
If we want to go down another rabbit hole as well, one of the neurologists I was working with actually in Moscow had mentioned that there was a high rate of diagnoses for multiple sclerosis and other autoimmune disorders in Latah County, and that there were some studies being done that showed a correlation between, you guys are ready for this one, Strychnine Creek, where we grew up swimming our whole lives. Because of the half-life, strychnine quite literally still exists in the creek bed. And so we absorb that. Yeah. So there's some studies being done, I believe. A neurologist mentioned it to me.
There are. I have read a lot about the high rates of autoimmune diseases in the area.
Yeah.
Are you, you talk about how you're trying to, take care of everyone's health and build these programs around holistic health. Does it help you be able to keep those boundaries? That's, literally what you're trying to teach and encourage, the people you're working with? Does it help your own boundaries, or do you still find it hard to not support or, to your own detriment?
Yeah, I think this environment helps foster that. I think any other environment with the military I've ever worked in does not, right? Because they will stay late. They will come in early. They don't listen to us, when we're telling them to take care of themselves, but also, these long operations or training days they're required of them, right? Regardless. And then you're supporting that. And so, it's kind of, do what you say, not, or do as I say, not what I do, throughout your career. But I think that the environment I'm in finally allows me to slow down. And I mean, everybody else, we work in cubicles, honestly, right? There's a couple offices, like the program directors, and then we're all in cubicles around each other. And so we all kind of come around the same time and leave around the same time. People actually take lunches, which is the first time I've ever been around anybody that sits down and takes lunches. And they're like, "Hey, Kate, are you going to come have lunch with us?" And so it's just like, And then
little work-life balance. Yeah.
Yeah. Our strength and conditioning coach, he leads sessions 3 times a week. And so we all work out together as an office, which is really great. Our athletic trainer, we have like game readies in there if we need to go and, work on ourselves. And so it's really just a great environment. And I think we've all like worked ourselves very hard, and we're all at the point where we're a little broken and need to take care of ourselves. And so it's kind of nice to be in an environment that actually really does encourage that self-care as well.
That's good because, hopefully that's made it, I don't know if easier is the right word, but for you to come back and manage your own condition and, not have flare-ups and just work on those things.
Yeah, I think easier is the right word because it was hard for me to slow down. And I think that's why I had to do that year of RV life, was like just to learn to be still again and to reflect like on what was important and what does cause flares and what does not. Because I was okay, right? So I was in like basically relapsing, remitting MS. So there was only like very serious things would cause me to flare up. But it wasn't until the spinal surgery that it really flipped everything on its head. And it was pretty violent, I'll be honest. It was like a night and day difference. And I didn't understand it. I didn't know what was happening or why. I think people around me didn't really get it, right? Like I was this person that could walk and was fine. And now I can't walk and I can't see out of my right eye. So it really was kind of scary. So I had to slow down. And I think that this is, it's an environment that allows me to do that, because if I had gone back to, let's be honest, a unit, and there's been some like special operations positions that have opened and people have been like, hey, you want to come back? And I really can't, because I don't think I would slow down. I don't think I would maintain a healthy pace. I really don't.
Yeah.
Because I love to be a high performer.
Yeah, sure. Hustle culture is real, right? You get sucked back into it, and that would not be good for you. Well,
and you get rewarded for it.
Yeah. Well, where my mind's going, Kate, is I'm going back to Potlatch now and imagining you in high school, this triathlete, this future sports psychologist and doctor, all this amazing stuff that you did. Take us back to high school. Were you active athletically then with the different teams? Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny because like a kind of a thread that's been weaved through all of the podcasts so far have been that going to a small town, we're going to school in a small town, we had the opportunity to do everything. And I really did, right? Like I kind of joked, or I complained, not even joked, I complained like, oh, going to a small school, we didn't get scouted, we didn't get this, we didn't get that. However, I got to literally try everything. So I played every single sport. I was, in T-ball with like Torian and Holly and everybody when I was tiny. I played AAU, everything. I was positive I was going to be in the WNBA when I was in 5th grade, but that did not work out for me. So I did volleyball, I did track, I did softball. I was a lifeguard in the summers, which was really great. I have some great memories about that.
At the Potlatch pool? Was it at
Yeah, I was a lifeguard there. Yep, I was from 16 until I graduated. That was what I did in the summers. It was myself, Scott Pettibone, Robin now McKinney, Wes Parkhurst, Sydney Osborne, and Casey Merrill. Oh, and Nick
any renovation? Did they do any renovation when you were there, or is it the same old spot?
It was the same old pool. We painted it.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, I think we painted a bench and stuff when I was there, but that was about the extent. Still had the same fences up. It was the same pool I took some lessons in. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's so cool.
I did everything. Yeah. 4-H, FFA, BPA. I did it all.
Were there anything that you like specifically tease out from doing all those things that really set you up for the success you've had and all of the, just the mindset it's taken to do all the things you've done?
I don't have a fear of trying anything. Like it was almost normal for me to try everything, right? To see if I liked the sport, or to do VPA 1 year to see if I liked it, right? And it was just, I had no fear. I didn't care if I ended up not liking public speaking. At least, I had the opportunity to try it because it was carved out. Because it was such a small school, I could do track and softball, 2 things in the same season early, my freshman year, and then figure out which one I preferred to move forward with. And I just think it instilled this sense of, bravery, right? To just like seek out opportunities and to jump head first. I think that not only was it small, and so, there wasn't competition, right, for all these teams. So you could do these things. but it was just as a community, right? It was just what we did. You were at the T-ball games, and that's what we all kind of did together. I was never musically inclined. I was always jealous of the band folks and the people that could sing. Wasn't my thing. I wish it was. But I enjoyed supporting them, But it was just, I think a sense of, and from a small town, I feel like that sounds crazy, but I just have been fine trying anything, and I'm excited to try something. And if I don't like it, then, and it's not for me, like I can adjust fire and try a different route, and that's fine.
That's a great lesson. I hadn't really thought of it that way, as it gave us the confidence too. Like, it's okay to just try stuff, and it's it doesn't feel like there's a huge barrier to trying things or to then deciding you don't want to do it anymore. Like, we just kind of
and you just try it and move on.
Did what we wanted to do, and
that was in the culture. I think that's a parallel through all of our years. And, into Zach's years as well, from what he said too. Just try it. You don't like it, you move on.
And it takes everybody to make every single thing work. So there's not really a lot of gatekeeping, because it's like, we really need another body.
Yeah, we could really use Kate. Come on, do softball and soccer and whatever we offer,
or put on this production or do whatever. If every single person doesn't turn out,
right? I think all of this did Missoula Children's Theater.
We did not have that. That came after. But I do remember, I remember when it came through, because I think I was still in college when they first started doing it.
I'm pretty sure you probably came and watched. You probably watched Rob and I and the Wizard of Oz. Him and I were those little bat things together. I still remember that to this day.
You guys were
Robski on stage with Kate.
Yeah.
Oh, are there pics? Are there photos of that?
We can find some photos of this.
Please.
Oh, I have some. I was looking through.
Making a note to text Aunt Carrie.
Yes.
And when I grew up, you guys, that was all we were taking photos and printing them off, right? That was the rage. So I have a ton. I have photos of me and Rob at our senior sneak, and I have all over. Yeah, a ton of photos.
Oh, that is so cool.
Going to state, supporting them all. Yeah, it's crazy, because I think they went to state their senior year in basketball, or the year before, or something like that. Yep. Yeah, pictures of all that.
Now, Kate, how about with all the athletics, how about coaches that stood out to you? Any coaches that really made a strong impression?
Someone that really stood out to me that wasn't a coach when I was there, but I really wish that I could have coached, or I could have had him coach me, honestly, was Mr. Haddock. I've heard
Mr. Haddock. Yeah.
He coached basketball, right?
Yeah, he coached when I was in school. He coached with my dad, actually.
Okay.
They coached junior high and high school together.
So I'm jealous, because I've heard incredible things about him being a coach. Also, Mr. Lovell, right? He coached men or the boys basketball, so I didn't get him as a coach. But Mr. Haddock, just in general, I think he was someone I really responded and resonated really well with, his teaching style and his kind of authority.
Was it the eraser throwing? Was that the part that resonated with you?
So he didn't throw stuff at us. And what? I don't know if it was I don't know if he had gotten in trouble at that point, or
maybe he mellowed with age.
His arm got hurt.
We were just angels, which we were not angels. I did not. Yeah, I would never stop talking. But it was just he literally expected greatness, and he didn't settle for anything less. That was his expectation, but he also believed in you, right? He believed and made you believe in yourself, that you were able to achieve that. I always had this idea that I wasn't good at math, and I'll be honest, I was really horrible with algebra, and I really struggled. But when I had him, got in high school, and I had him as a teacher, I loved it. I didn't even what was the highest trigonometry, right? Is the highest math or something like that he was teaching? I can't remember. But I didn't
pre-calc, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and I didn't have to do. So I did my junior and senior of one. So technically, the senior level math, if you got there, you didn't have to take it. It was optional. And I hated math, but I loved him. So, and I mean that. I do not like math. I mean, when I say I don't like it, but I loved him so much as a teacher that I took 2 math classes my last year just to learn from him.
Wow.
So yeah, I 2 from him and 2 from Mr. Potter, which I have a funny story for Mr. Potter. So I was in the junior level English and senior level English, right? Both years. And as you guys can tell, I was kind of talkative, maybe, right? Growing up. And like the group that in my senior class, it was split into two groups, and ours just happened to be like really, really talkative people, like Ryan Breeze, Katie Breeze, his wife, Ben Tucker, Chrissy Tucker. They're all married now, but I remember there was a group of us really chatty. And I was my desk was in the front, and we were all chatting and eating sunflower seeds. And it wasn't just me, it was all of us eating sunflower seeds,
In the
right?
class? Eating sunflower seeds in the
Yeah,
class.
I know we were being jerks. It was during like softball, baseball season, and we were probably doing it to be annoying. It was like the end of our senior year, right? And I'm sure we were doing it to be annoying intentionally. Like,
Yep.
probably, right? Like, we deserved every bit of this. And he came up and like it was when we had like, we finally like upgraded to like the slick plastic desks, And I had my like little pile of sunflower seeds in the front row, just like confidently like chewing, being super disrespectful, I'm sure. And he came with his little hand, because I don't want to say little hand, but hands. And he like literally, he like scattered my pile of sunflower seeds everywhere over the room. He's
Oh.
like, stop eating sunflower seeds. And then he's like, go pick them up. And I was like on my hands and knees picking up these sunflower seeds. And it's so funny because it's like a joke that like all of us have remembered and like brought up from time to time since then, right? And he added me as like a friend on Instagram. Brad Miller, and Rebecca Miller. I was hanging out with them and they're like, oh yeah, Mr. Potter like posts all these really awesome things on Instagram. And I'm like, you guys are friends with him on Instagram and I'm not. And so I added him as a friend. And then he's like, oh, it's like so great to see you or whatever. And I was like, did you not add me as a friend before this because of the sunflower seeds? And he's like, what? And he didn't even remember. And it was something that was so traumatic. And I did not act out ever again in his classes. I was like, Roger that. Do you know what I mean? Like I was like, I deserved it. And so now he makes jokes about sunflower seeds all the time.
So he remembered it once you reminded him. He just hadn't held a grudge about it.
Nope. Didn't care.
Yeah. He moved on. There were probably dozens or hundreds of those kind of episodes.
Probably, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it left a mark on you. Yeah.
Yeah, I learned my lesson.
Because he was like such a fun teacher, like just like so nice. He was a great teacher to have. And I feel like if I had ever seen a spark of anger or annoyance from him, it would have stuck with me because we were awful.
I was mortified.
Would try to push his buttons, and he was just so good at not letting us get to him, and which I think that's how like he was really able to keep control of the classroom because no matter what we did, we
were so naughty. We were being so naughty that day, Shelby.
So naughty. We were so bad. We were so bad when we were not having.
It must have been all the years accumulated to that one moment of me and the sunflower seeds. And he's like, "This is it. I've had it."
You could just, if it was a TV show, all these like memories would be flashing through his mind of what all of us had done in the 10 years prior to that moment, that he was teaching. And just like,
that was the tipping point.
Breaks. But I love that his breaking point is just scattering sunflower seeds too. Like,
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
See,
and then
I
just
missed him.
and then just went back to teaching. It was fine.
He came after me.
Yeah. You need to meet him though, Cam.
I need to meet him.
Yeah, he's really great. He's awesome.
That's fantastic. I'm glad you had and I'm imagining you. So you had him 2 times a day also, right? Because you're taking a junior class and a senior class. I'm processing that you told me. So how did you, first of all, I'm glad the school worked with you to do that, number one, but logistically, how did that happen? How did you get it done?
Yeah. How did you fit all those classes in?
Yeah. Fit them in on time.
So kind of silly. I honestly, I don't know how they let me. It shouldn't have been so easy. Like Ellie and I talk about this all the time, that it was like way too easy to graduate early. But I think it was because I decided I wanted to do it like pretty early, like my freshman year. Right. And so I gone to our school counselor, Lois, at the time. And so rather than taking like all the electives that we had, or a lot of people like had, like they didn't have first period or they wouldn't have 7th period or whatever. Right. Or like lunch or study hall. So the things that like were optional that you didn't need or like whatever, I just literally filled every single period full of all the necessary stuff. So I took.
That makes sense. Yeah, you just didn't. Yeah, you didn't enjoy school as much as
I did it. Which a lot of like
you didn't have as much time to mess around as I did.
Yeah, and you guys have talked a lot of. Well, I did mess around. Let's be honest, I had a really good time. But I mean, one thing, it's like, what have you learned? And it's like, what would you tell yourself is to slow down? I would not have graduated early. I would have slowed down. I would have enjoyed it. I would have just like lived in the moment. Like I wish that I could go back and like a lot of people ask me, like, if you could change anything, what would it be? And I'm like, I probably wouldn't have graduated early from high school. But I felt like our parents, our grandparents, our aunts, our uncles, everybody told us, like, slow down, enjoy it, don't rush, right? And like now that's the advice I give to my niece Ashlyn and Balin, or that I would have given to my younger self, right? And I think it's just one of those things that you have to learn with time and experience. Like, that's what life is for, is like learning these lessons yourself, and you learn how fast life truly goes by, and like being present in those moments. And like some of the like memories that have really like or moments that have shaped who I am as a person, like come from potlatch, right? Like come from those moments. And I'm like, gosh, I just wish I would have had like a little bit more time with those people, or you know what I mean? In those like slow moments, like, gosh, I remember Ellie lived out on Rock Creek, like past the Rock Creek Bridge, like pretty far out there, like with the Larsons, right? Her mom is Ann Larson. So they lived way out there, and we used to like ride bikes or walk there, right? In the summers. Like our parents didn't know where we were. They would leave for school or leave for work, right? In the summer. And we would like pop smoke on our bikes and like be home by the time it gets dark. And it just was, I don't know, this like safe space where you could just be and like learn and grow. And it just was like, I'm never going to find that again,
I guess too, that when you're young, you don't have context for how special it all is. That everything, that you don't know how fast life goes. You don't know how precarious life is sometimes, or how special those moments are. And I think about that a lot too. One of my best friends lived out at out Rock Creek when we were in school, and I'm often baffled when I went back, like, why were we? Like, we would just walk to town. Why? Like, that is really far. What were we doing? Like, nobody knew we were walking to town. There was no way to call anyone if something went wrong.
Nope. No cell phones.
Yeah, and it's weird.
The cell phones started coming my senior year.
The weird thing as an adult too is you think, how did I have time? How did we not have to be anywhere? That we were like, well, let's just walk to town and walk back. Because that, as an adult, you're like, oh, I got 5 minutes. I got to rush here, rush there. And
you could like stop and build a fort and some trees along the way. No, like the world was
different back then,
right?
It was so different. It was just very special.
And smartphones had not arrived. Like a cell phone had by the time, but smartphones changed everything. So that you would have thankfully missed that because it would alter probably how you spent your time if it was 10 years later.
Yeah. We didn't get I didn't buy my first smartphone until I was getting ready to drive to Texas to start my PhD because they needed the GPS on it. And so that was 2010. Yeah. 2009. So, I mean, it was, I didn't have it even through college. I didn't have a smartphone. So I was just, we had T9 text. We didn't even text. We just still call people back in the day.
Yeah.
So I was that type of person, and then like printable photos.
And you couldn't like look at, you weren't looking at it all day because you didn't have all these things coming to you. I often have these memories. I don't think I've talked about some of the podcasts before, but I'll think back about something we were doing and I'll think, why didn't we just call someone to come get us? Or why didn't we just map it? Because I'm so used to now having a smartphone, and it takes me a while to remember, like, no, we didn't have those things, but there's, definitely there are some things that would have been nice to have it because, we talk a lot about how glad we were, but also there's moments where I'm like, it would have been really nice to just call my dad and say, could you please come get me right now? I am not where I'm supposed to be and should not be here, but I don't have, I don't have any way to get.
I can't get to you.
Yeah.
Or I finally get to a phone, but no one's on the other side. And there's nothing you can do about it. It just rings and rings.
That's right.
Yep.
I forgot about that too. Like, then nobody's
they
answering.
can just not be home or
and I don't know where you are. I don't know. I don't know where you are either. And
it just is what it is. I remember going to Boise to watch the boys play basketball for state, and we printed off like MapQuest instructions.
Yes.
Like paper instructions to drive from Potlatch to Boise, to our hotel, to where state was, and like get around. Like MapQuest. And if you took the wrong turn, you were screwed,
Yeah.
You just drove around. I remember when I think I was maybe it was the summer after my freshman year of college, and Cam lived in Nampa. And I remember I came down and we didn't even have MapQuest then. I just drove around Nampa until I found the right street. That was it. And And that seemed logical. And also, my parents didn't think that was a bad idea. They were like, yeah, I mean, you'll figure it out. You'll find your way. Or
You'll eventually figure it out.
Yeah,
we were resourceful.
Or like, I guess you could stop. Like, I knew where Cam worked. I could have found it. I don't know. Like, you had a couple, but like, I just kind of drove around town and eventually
Stop and ask for directions if you need.
And look at you figured it out, Shelby.
Yeah. And that's honestly still a lot how I travel, where I'm like, I mean, it'll be fine. I'll find eventually somewhere I want to be. It might not be where I was headed, but it'll be fine.
It's where I'm meant to be, right?
Yes.
I think we were also able to get into a lot of trouble because like we didn't have we weren't able to be tracked and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why this came back to me, but when you guys were talking about, I can't remember what episode, but you were talking about like memorable cars and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And one that popped into my head was, and I don't know if like you saw it, Shel, when I don't know if her brother had it, but Holly Baker had it was like a teal 4-door Geo Metro. And I think it like had been her nan's or grandma. So I don't know if like the boys drove it too or you had seen it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Besides the point.
And so we remember Geo Metros being a thing.
Yes, and I think that was a Baker family thing, honestly. And
they were so tiny too. Like you could like, I think maybe he did because I remember there being a Geo Metro, and I don't know. I just remember. I don't know if it was during a game or during school. The boys like picking one up and putting it on milk carts so the tires would touch the ground. But I don't remember. I have no idea like who was involved in it. I say the boys because I'm sure a bunch of girls didn't.
Yeah,
but I don't have any. Like, I remember nothing other than that. Just that, like, we would always joke about it then, that, like, oh, like, you could drive to school and then fold up your Geo Metro and put it in your pocket and go into class. Like, you don't.
Yeah. So, Cam, this is where you'd be like, Holly, if you're listening, like, or Gay, like, tell us who's driving. Like, because Holly, like,
someone please let us know about this Geo Metro situation, please.
Yeah,
call
Holly,
in.
If you could let us know about all the Metro. Yeah. But, gosh, we were still good kids, mind you. Like, we were like good kids, got really good grades, like we're good athletes. But we were going out to a party on Flat Creek, and Holly was the TD, and she was driving us, and it was super muddy. And so we drove out there, got stuck, had to get pushed out, right? Her little tiny Geo Metro. And they were driving back to go stay at the Bakers because we were there all night, right? Staying the night, just super innocent kids, good kids.
Obviously watching movies. There's a lot of movies watching.
Right, a lot of movies. And actually, I think our parents maybe knew that we were, whatever, it doesn't matter. But we were the only car wash. So her car was covered in mud. And we're like, there's no way we're going to get away with this, right? At this point, we have to clean this car. So the only car wash that was open was in Palouse. So we drove all the way from Flat Creek, right, which is the Deary shortcut, all the way to Palouse. And Holly Baker's house is out by, what's that road they lived on? What is that road called? By Princeton?
Oh.
Like where the church is, you take a right instead and we go out there.
Also.
Oh, way out there.
Yeah. Also
Hatter
something
Creek? Is it Hatter Creek?
I think maybe it's Hatter Creek. Yeah.
That's a haul that y'all did. That's a haul.
So we drove all the way to Palouse.
At night.
At night. Before curfew at like midnight to back or whatever, right? So, and like, but we didn't wash the undercarriage of the car, apparently. We forgot about it. So we like drive back, we get there, we go to sleep, whatever. And apparently like a couple weeks later, Holly's dad, like Pete, like Barb and Pete, if you're listening, we love you so much. Pete pulled Holly aside and was like, you need to be more careful, like going up and down the driveway because like the undercarriage of the car is like coated in mud. And we finally just told them about it like 2 years ago. We're like, hey, remember when you thought this? This is actually what happened. And it's just so fun, like, you know, to have those like fun stories. But we was
had no idea.
And stuff. They had no idea. They're like,
no
well, we
idea.
just knew you guys were being safe and whatever. So it's fine. Yeah, he just genuinely thought we were driving or Holly was driving really fast up the road.
You slept over to Palouse. You put the quarters in the old thing. Yep. I remember that. Yep. I used that thing a couple times. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then drove all the way back to Hatter Creek. All the way back. Yep.
We drove a lot. There was a lot of driving.
For sure.
So
a lot
much.
of driving.
Mm-hmm. So much just to sit by a fire somewhere in the middle of the woods.
Uh-huh. Diesel!
Yep. It was great though. Worth it all.
I forget a little bit about the fire part because the part, like, I remember I asked my parents once, how did you believe I went to the movies when I came home smelling like a campfire? And their answer was, we always knew you didn't go to the movies. So unlike the Bakers, the Kerns parents we're a little more clued in. They're like, as long as you didn't shove it in our, like, we tried not to know because
Right.
it's not that much fun when you were grounded and we had to spend time with you. So it was kind of, you know, but like when you think about it, because you did, like, we'd
We
be,
don't want to ground her again.
like, and I had like all this hair, so much hair, and it would just stink like smoke so much.
Yeah.
And like now I'm like, why did you ever, like, did you think we had a campfire in the movie theater?
And like with the bakers too, like by the time it got to us, like Holly was their last, right? So they probably were like, this is not our first rodeo. Like, we know what you guys are doing. It's fine.
Come back in one piece,
we
please.
do not want to deal with this.
Yeah.
And my parents were just very much like, tell me where you're going, like what you're doing, what time you're going to be back. And so it was like, okay, cool. And so I just was very like honest and like timely and whatnot. And so, yeah, my parents were flexible-ish.
It would be so
as long as I was responsible.
Like now, people tracking their kids on their phones and like, that looks like they're at blah, blah, blah.
Oh, they're all congregating. Looks like there must be a bonfire.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do that to my friends. Like here, there's like 4 friends that I have, and we like get together for brunch and stuff. And one was coming over because we are going to like a pickle brew festival together, and it was taking her longer than I expected. And so I literally pulled up where she was at to make sure she was safe. So like I even do it to my friends.
Okay, but did you just say a pickle brew festival?
So there's like a brewery here, and they have like the pickle fest every year. So it's like pickle flavored beer. It's like pickle vendors. Everything was pickle flavored, cookies, everything.
I don't know what to think about this.
Pickle fusion. Yeah.
It was so good.
I mean, we have a lentil festival back in the Palouse, but a pickle festival.
Pickle festival, pickle beer. I don't know.
It was
Pickleback
like one
is
was
certainly
okay.
helpful to prevent hangovers. I get that.
Oh,
Maybe they're just
that's fair.
trying to
That's
jumpstart.
science. That's science.
Okay, that's science. There you go, science.
Yeah.
They're trying to, use sciencey things. I want to go back to the. I always want to go back to the wood shop. Tell us about wood shop class. We got some treats, I know, to hear about.
Oh my gosh! So I was listening to like the wood shop chat, right? And so I had Mr. Lovell was mine. So I didn't have any of the wood shop instructors you had, but my dad had the same one as you guys. I forget what their.
He had Mr. Rohn.
Mr. Rohn.
Mr. Rohn, yeah. So my dad had Mr. Rohn also, and so I was texting. And I was like, Dad, who was your teacher? And he's like, oh, it's Mr. Rohn. I was like, oh, that's what theirs was too, right? During the podcast. And then I got to you guys talking about if you still had your items. And so I asked him, I was like, hey, Dad, do you still have like the folding table I made in woodshop? And I actually had forgot about the console I made. And he's like, I have the console too. And I was like, will you please send me pictures so I can send them to Shelby? And so he did. Like the folding. Did we all make that, by the way? That little folding stool?
I didn't make the folding stool, but I had, everybody else did. So, and somehow they all ended up at my mom's, I think. And we had like 4 or 5. And I think I took some with me when I like moved out for the first time and used it like as a knife.
I had one, Kate, and I got a lot of utility out of it. It might have ended up at Debbie's, Shelby. It might be one of mine.
We probably have yours. One's rich.
Jeff, it might be Jeff's too. Jeff had one. I remember.
Mine's so sturdy. My dad uses it in the shop.
Is that right?
Mine, it's that solid. Mine, yep.
Do you know
somebody made one that I, as a kid, like I was not even in junior high, and I decided I wanted everything pink in my bedroom, and I painted one pink, and I got in trouble for it. I remember that.
You get in trouble for painting it pink? Wait, in the house or at work? That's cool.
The house. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get that.
I think it wasn't mine, so I probably wasn't supposed to. I don't know, but I want to know what happened to it.
It was someone's
in
memory.
your vicinity, Shelby. It was in your vicinity, so you assumed it was yours.
How is it not mine? Come on.
How's it not yours? Okay, so I'm at my mom's in Manistee, Michigan. This time last year for Thanksgiving, and I go upstairs and I forgot about the wooden rubber ducky. Did you make a ducky too, Kate? Like with the little feet?
That wasn't a thing when I was there. But I asked my dad. He said yes. Yeah. So we didn't have it because I was like, did we? I was like, I didn't remember.
Maybe that was a Mr. Rohn thing.
I think so. We did the consoles instead. Did you guys do the consoles that you put in the truck with like the cup holders and stuff, and you could open it up?
Okay, no, ma'am. Okay. I did not do the consoles. That must have been in a later iteration, but we did do the stools. You could opt to do the cedar chest. That was complicated. I did one. Oh, I love that cedar chest.
I have a cedar chest. My mom's brother Curtis made her one, and so she has one.
Oh,
My brother
beauty.
Ty made me
Oh,
one. So I'm here at my house in Boise, and I've got the cedar chest that Ty
You got the
made.
cedar chest.
I have a set of shelves that my cousin Michael made me. My younger brother Kevin made me for Christmas one year a big CD tower that had, and I still have a bunch of CDs in it.
I love that. I
I
love
Part
probably
of
that.
had
me,
like even here, like I have a ton of.
My dad made me a cedar chest and it's upstairs, like in Virginia. Go, it's all the way over here. Love it.
It's like it just keeps going, and we move them around,
Yep.
and I'd
Yep.
forgotten really until this conversation that I had all of those. Brad Minden made me a table once, so I used to have a table
really?
that Brad Minden
Oh,
made
shout
me.
out, Brad. There you
Yeah.
go.
And until I built this house in like 20 what year would it have been? Like maybe 2016. I used it. Like I still had it up until then. So I got decades of use out of that.
I see a
I love
photo
it.
I had forgotten
opportunity.
all about that. Like just yeah, I want to see all
The
the
gifts
I
that
want to
keep
see I want
giving.
people sharing all the wood shop stuff. I wonder
Let's
if
Right?
bring it.
do other towns have the same where like everybody has the exact same cedar
That's a
chest?
good question.
And
Troy,
like they,
Deary, are you
yeah,
listening?
right. Colin.
Opportunity. Moscow, got nothing.
I mean, yeah, do people cherish it as much as we do? Like it's just, and it can't be a coincidence. Like each generation, like we still cherish these things and like we have it or our parents have it or someone in our family has these like items we made, like we don't throw them away. Like I have like Ellie, something I love about the small town too is that like even your best friends are literally your family. So like Ellie, I remember we were so little because I'm an only child and like I remember asking Ellie, like, do you promise when you have kids someday I'll be their auntie? And like I have drawings on my fridge right now that her kids drew me years ago, but I still put them in my
Nice.
fridge. Like there's just things you don't get rid of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
True. It's so true. And that's true about you're in such close proximity to your friends all the way through that I think that's one reason why it becomes very, very much like a family and
Yeah.
like your parents went to school with their parents and there's like
Mhm.
so much um
Uh-huh. There's a
yeah, like it
collective
just
history.
yeah,
Yeah.
everything gets so intertwined. And if you're lucky like me, like one of your best friends and classmates marries your brother and actually does become your family. So that worked out well for me.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
It
know,
does.
you get the like kind of that you get to like carry that on like as actual family that it felt like when you were growing up. So that's really nice.
And like you could just like also you could not see someone for years, but you pick up right where you left off. Like, do you guys know Steve and Diane Fiskus? Steve
Yeah.
Fiskus, I know you do. Yeah. So I grew up with Dara, his daughter. So they're youngest. Dusty was a little bit older than me. And Dara like moved to LA after graduation and has been there the entire time.
Hmm.
And her and I like haven't seen each other a lot because like I've been in Europe or wherever, right? And when I was doing RV life, it's like, hey, I'm going to be in your area. Can I stop and see you? And can I meet you? Just have a little baby boy named Sunny, so adorable. And it was so great because I hadn't seen her in probably like 15 years or more. But it was just like you pick up exactly where you're left off, and it's like, you're Sunny, meet Auntie Katie. You know what I mean? And it was just so lovely. But it's so her parents, so Steve and Diane. Fun fact: I was like listening to the podcast, and did you know that they winter? So like their winter home in I believe is it like Yuma or like somewhere Palm Springs or something. They live in the same community as Mr. and Mrs. Yeomans.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What?
Yes. And I think maybe some other people from Potlatch too. And Mrs. Yeoman still leads fitness classes. That was the first thing I asked. She
Go,
still like
Chris.
leads classes and stuff. Yes.
Right on. Good for her.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope she's listening. Shout out.
Shout
She
out.
actually, you know what? She was an incredible coach because she also did not accept anything but greatness. Like she whipped our drill team into shape. Like we were at state all the time. She was a pretty good coach.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she
Yeah.
was accountable in PE. I remember there was a while there, I was getting a B in PE.
A
And
B.
she was like, she's like, I am so disappointed in you. You are not applying
Oof.
yourself. I'm like, it's PE. She's like, you are one of the leaders. You know how to play soccer. You should be showing people how to play soccer, not goofing off. And I was like, oh, yes, ma'am. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to work to get the A, Chris. Thank you. I had to work.
I
Yeah.
I sort of love the idea though of you getting a B in PE.
Yeah.
I do too. That's hilarious to me.
Right? I know. Yeah. And it was close, Shelb. It was really close.
She didn't let things slide. That's for sure. Like Shelby,
Mm-mm.
were you in drill team?
I was my freshman year, and I don't know if I did after that. I can't remember.
Okay.
Maybe my
We would
sophomore
re-
year, but definitely not my junior or senior year.
Ooh, we were there. We would literally, so girls team was year round, and we would do practice before school. Sometimes we would do it after like basketball or volleyball. If we
I'm
hadn't
pretty
had our
sure it's the
routine whipped
before
into
school
shape,
that's made me not want to do
that,
it.
oh
Was
yeah,
the
because you're
early
not a morning
mornings. Yeah,
person.
that is not for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that might have been why
Yeah.
I quit.
Yeah. Either
You
way,
know,
it was, she like, we would do it until it was perfect. And like, I kind of appreciate that, the repetition from her, like learning how to do
right,
things until it's actually right.
right. High
Yeah.
standards, like you said earlier
Yeah.
about
It
Mr.
was
Yeah.
Haddock.
fun. I loved
Yeah.
it. Like I
Yeah.
remember I think maybe my friends stopped doing it. I think we all did it freshman year and then like a couple sophomore year maybe. And at that time too, you really want to spend time with your friends. That was kind of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
guys
my
were
dance.
smart.
Like we all did this, we all did sports together. So that's what my
Yeah.
friends were. So it was
Yeah.
easy.
You kind of like go along and do what everybody's doing and doing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. What's something, is we're talking about all this nostalgic things. Like, is there something other than these stories on the Loyal and True podcast that that kind of evokes some memories and makes you nostalgic for Potlatch?
Yeah. So the reason why I'd reached out to Donna Merrill to ask her, I reached out to her earlier today. And I think I told you guys the story before we started recording, but I just was like, hey, if I'm asked a question about like kind of nostalgia, can I share a story about Casey, who Casey Merrill passed away I think it was summer before our sophomore year of college. But we lifeguarded together growing up, and during breaks, so there was like a mandatory like lifeguard break, right? And we'd always get in the pool and like cool off and everything. And I was at Napa this last summer, volunteering as a camp host. And we went down and we were in the pool before like it got opened up to the big public, right? So kind of that reminded me of it a little bit. But there was this big silly whale, and it was this like big blow up, like inflatable like whale toy, right? And instantly I like flashbacks. So it was like the smell of the chlorine, seeing this cool toy. And I have the photo. I'll find it and send it to you. But we literally like, because I'm just like regular Polaroids, right? You'd have to like roll until it'd be like the next picture, then you could take a picture.
Oh yeah.
And Casey and Nick were jumping off of the diving board with that stupid whale, like posing and like doing heel clickers and stuff. And Casey hit the water and it popped, and like all the kids like started crying because he had the toy and stuff. And we had it because it's after potlatch joy, so we like had like the whale left over after potlatch days, and like he ruined it, and it just was like randomly like 20 something years later, I just like smell chlorine. I see this like blow up toy, and it was like, oh my gosh, like it took me back to like that moment. And it's just like talking, like earlier about like slowing down and being present. It's just like no phone, no anything, just like your friends, like the summer, like trying to capture these like fun, silly moments. And it just, like those times, I think that's what makes me nostalgic, is like those like little moments that you just like cherish, and something little will kind of like set it off, or even like the smell of fire. And I'm like, I remember Laird Park with my grandparents, and so it's just like little things like that, I think.
I appreciate that because there are these moments and you don't even know what's going to trigger it, right? Like you
Yeah.
said, it's the smell of chlorine or campfires and all of these things, and it just sends you all of a sudden right back into a memory of,
Yeah.
and it's like you're there. Like it's amazing how
Yep.
those senses work,
That's a
Yeah.
time bend. Yeah.
Mhm. And I don't know if it's like something that makes me nostalgic, but there's moments, or there's songs, or there's like the song we like walked down the aisle to at graduation, right? Like White Snake, Here I Go Again on My Own. Like
Nice
that song comes
choice.
on.
Oh
right?
yes, yeah, woo.
Right. And it like takes you back instantly, like to those moments,
Mhm.
and just like being silly, and like just like the littlest things. Like a car, and you're like, oh my gosh, I remember when so and so drove that silly car, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The littlest things. But it's so wonderful.
Cam, what song did your class walk out to?
Van Halen, Dreams.
Nice.
Dun, 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 dun.
That is good.
That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
great choice.
And I picked it. I'm happy to say. Okay, so I showed up. Temple and I argued about this. I think maybe not on the last podcast, but they were going to do a country song. And I'm like, we've had enough country songs. And the contingent that wanted the country song didn't show up for the decision-making committee.
Oh,
And I did.
wow.
And I was somehow persuasive. And they're like, yeah, let's do Van Halen. Do 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 do. Hi.
What was the country song?
I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Ours
I mean,
was we walked out to Star Wars theme.
nice choice.
Yeah,
Okay.
chosen by, and I believe I don't know if I would, stake my life on it, but I'm fairly certain that was spearheaded by Carrie Baker. Actually,
Okay.
I think he was the.
I'll have to
Great
text
choice.
Holly. Yeah, I'll text Holly and
Yeah.
have her follow up with the Baker clan and we'll learn after this.
Yeah.
By the way, do you still have group texts with all your friends that you guys grew up with? Do you still keep in touch with them and stuff?
I'm still in touch with a lot of them, but I don't think any of us, I don't think I have a group text of just classmates or people I grew up with.
Okay.
I don't, not just with it. There's a few that will overlap, but not like one contingent text, which can be interesting, to put a bunch of them on there and see see what we'd say.
A lot of my classmates, I've classmates that I went all the way through U of I with, and then Darcy Nagel, now Darcy Birch, we became friends when we were 3 and then went all the way through school together, all the way through the U of I together, moved to Boise after graduation and have stayed in touch and more than stayed in touch. I mean, we're, still really close. So there's a lot of people that have, our lives have kind of stayed connected, but I think and then our group texts though have more to do with people we know after high school. We all have, I don't know, it's kind of an interesting evolution. I hadn't really thought about it that way.
And maybe the group text is more like my generation. I don't know, but I'm still old according to Zach and his examples. We still text Zach.
It's such a generational thing because, Zach made you feel old and we, had to give Marv a hard time for, graduating in the 70s. So it's an ongoing thing that
it's relative. It changes every episode, to an extent.
Yep. We need more people who graduated in the 70s or earlier because that's what makes Cam and I feel young. So if anybody has any ideas, drop them in.
Okay, Kate. Love all these stories, but one more before we wrap up. You got to take me back to when you and Shelb met in DC. You were describing some more potlatch people, and then we kind of kept moving the story along. So yeah, what do you remember from that?
So Brenda was at Nicholson, now Brenda Helbling. So she was working for the president at the University of Idaho. So she was there. Her daughter was there. Then myself and Shelb. So I knew Brenda was going to be there. That was the first time I've been able to meet her daughter. And then I had made up Shelby's name tag. So I was a Kerns, I can't wait to ask her if she knows Rob, right? So I was waiting, holding her name tag in my hand, the whole flight, ready to ask her about Rob when I got to DC. And then this gentleman was checking in, and it's killing me right now, Cam, because I cannot remember his name. Very tall, dark hair, such a nice guy. And he's like, Colvin, he's like, do you know a Clint Colvin? And I was like, that's my dad. And he's like, oh my gosh, I grew up with them. And I was like, do you know the Kerns family? I'm like, Shelby's over here. And then Brenda's like, oh, I know you. Yeah. And I cannot remember what his name was for the life of me right now. But there were, out of 36 people, there were 5. Five from Potlatch. Yes.
Who is this guy? Sir, with the dark hair.
I don't have any memory of it. I cannot remember at all.
Was he working for the CIA? Maybe. Ooh, maybe we have a logger, espionage person.
Maybe he wasn't even from Potlatch. Maybe he was just completely lying to us. And was I wonder if I can trick them into making me think I'm from their hometown.
Maybe he wishes he was from Potlatch.
He wishes, yeah. Maybe he wishes, he's from another Idaho town, but just doesn't have as much confidence.
No, I think.
Well, I'm sure he's listening though, because not just your mom's listen. I'm sure he's listening.
Is. And if you are, sir, please identify yourself.
Or if anybody knows who this, gentleman,
this tall, dark gentleman,
tall, nice, dark hair.
Yeah.
Grew up with Kate's dad, lives in DC.
He was in a great suit.
Great suit.
He would have graduated in roughly 80, I believe.
Snappy dresser.
Oh, 80.
Oh, 80.
Okay, take us back to the 70s. So he was a Vandal alum and a Lager alum.
Yes, both.
Okay, that's whittling it down a little bit.
I was working in DC politics. It's going to probably, as soon as we get off this, I'll remember. But hopefully he'll just be like, hey, I'll be on an episode with you and I'm that person. Isn't it so crazy that you just go anywhere and you can find home? It's really, And it's just those stories and those moments, right? Like us talk, like me telling about Rob, and you can really find home like literally anywhere you are in the world. And it's crazy. Even, gosh, I can't remember who the gentleman was, but he talked about being in Okinawa, Japan, literally
Marv.
20
Oh
years.
yeah, Marv. Yeah.
So I worked out there as well. So when I worked in special operations, I would go out to Okinawa, for 2 weeks. Every 3 months, I go out there for 2 weeks. And I'm like, I've been on that small little island as well, this little potlatch girl. And it's just so crazy how small this world is.
It's a connection.
That's so cool.
It's an instant connection,
Yeah.
And I think knowing that there are so many, it's such a small town, but people from Potlatch went everywhere. And
Everywhere. Yeah.
And I think I didn't know that growing up. That was sort of a surprise.
Me neither. Same. Yeah. It looked like, kind of just thought you stayed there, and then hearing like these stories, I'm like, oh wow, this is crazy. Like, halfway across the world, they were there too. That's fun.
It's
we
fun.
were at the same shop at the
world.
same military days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you hit it on the head too, Kate. Like it's a small town is such a family. And so everywhere you go, you run into each other, and it's like a distant relative that you
it's a touch point.
Yeah.
Right?
Or like you vaguely know if you saw their name on a family tree, but you'd not met, and here you are. And that's sort of what, I remember seeing your photo when I was kicked out of class, standing in the hallway, looking at all those senior photos, and those names are going to resonate.
Yeah.
I used to look at those so much and like think of what my senior picture would be. That would be up there forever. But I think even like when you like aren't finding home somewhere, like I kind of try to recreate that. Like I'm the person that like will get to know my neighbors, right? Like I asked my neighbor's little girl what her favorite candy was for Halloween for when she would come trick or treating. And I just think that. Like that's like a lot of people don't get to know their neighbors. Like, we lived on those, like I lived in town on Cedar Street, like named after all the trees. We knew all of our neighbors, right? Yep. And like a lot of those houses are still with the same families. And I just, it was so special. And I find like I try to like recreate that at work or in friend groups or, like where I live now, I just really try to create that intimacy is really what it is. It's like a different level of like knowing people. And it just was something special.
It is special. We're very lucky.
We are.
We are indeed.
And it really brings us back to our motto, right? Loyal and true.
Loyal and true. Yes, indeed.
Love it. Love it.
Thanks for spending some time with us, Kate. This has been amazing.
Awesome. Yes.
This has been really good. Shelby, I can't wait to see you in DC when we're both there at the same time.
We're gonna make it happen.
We're new friends now.
Yeah,
I know. I love it. It's been fantastic.
All right. Thanks, guys. And thanks everybody for listening.